This week on CU Sports Mag, Brian Lockridge is scoring touchdowns on the football field
and writing scores in the piano. Also, we take a special look at the importance of weightlifting.
Plus, highlights from the Colorado Invitational.
CU Sports Mag.
Right now. Hello and welcome to CU Sports Mag. I'm Amanda Blackwell, sitting alongside Luke Rosenmeyer. And Luke, it's our first show of the season. It's going to be a good one.
It's great to be back, and you know, first show of the season means first football game of the season. We had the Rocky Mountain Showdown against Colorado State last weekend. Let's see some highlights. All right, you know the band's fired up, and Ralphie's fired up. Everybody except the football team was fired up. Here you're going to see Grant Stucker hit Dion Morton for 57 yards deep down the sideline, beating the cornerback on the double move. That can't happen. Rams would score, go up 7-0. First CU possession, Cody Hawkins looking for Scotty McKnight over the middle. He gets drilled. This looks like a pick, but really, it's an incomplete pass. But remember that for later. This is in the second quarter when Colorado State was already up 17-0. Stucker looking for more, but Benjamin Burney says, no, sir, picking him off. Buffs trying to get back in the game, but went into halftime down 20-3. Yeah, not really getting much going. But here we are, second half. Brian Lockridge walking in from 9 yards out, 20-10 Rams. Next CU possession, Hawkins looking for McKnight again over the middle, hits him, and then McKnight gets laid out.
Ouch.
Yeah, he came out of the game, mild concussion, but it turns out he's going to be all right.
All right, good. Start of the fourth quarter, the Buffs defense showing they came to play too. Watch this hit Marcus Burton puts on Stucker. That's a loss of 7 for CSU. And then we're going to go to 12-11 left in the game. CU down 20-10, and this 45-yard bomb from Stucker to Rashawn Greer isn't really going to help matters. Stucker was 10 of 17 and threw for 208 yards in the game. But that was all for naught. Later in the drive, CU's defense stops Leonard Mason on the 1-yard line, holding them to a field goal, bringing the score to 23-10 Rams. Third and goal at the CSU 2 with under 2 minutes left to play. CU makes an attempt at a comeback. It's now 23-17 Rams, but with 1:55 left in the game, Leonard Mason puts the final nail in the coffin with this heartbreaking 44-yard rush. Buffs lose to the Rams 23-17. Let's take a look at the stats from that game. Grant Stucker was 10 of 17, 208 yards. Mason had 23 carries, 107 yards. And then Cody Hawkins, 24 of 40, 222 yards. That's not a bad showing. Ryer Gear, 6 receptions, 65 yards.
Yeah, but it's not about the stats. It's about wins and losses.
All right, let's go see what they had to say at postgame.
You got to make a few more of those plays. But I give them a lot of credit. They did a nice job. They ran the ball and they executed real well. It ended up being a relatively close game at the end, but you've got to clean up a lot of those little issues, and whether it's eyes or feet or hands. But I think they'll be all right. You know, we just got to keep plugging and get better, and that's all we can do.
Well, I'm never going to rate how I played based on any statistic. It's a win or a loss, and that one was a loss. So it's definitely on me as the leader of the offense, and we got to clean that up. And you know, luckily for us, we got a really short week, so we got to get back on the field here pretty soon and try and flush this one out of our system. But we know starting right now is that we're on to Toledo. We got to flush Colorado State, and congratulations to them. They played a good game. They outplayed us, and we just got to rally up for next week.
And it looks like quarterback Tyler Hansen's going to have a second go at what he tried to do last year. The team announced plans this week to have Hansen attempt to redshirt the season again. Hansen had his redshirt pulled last year against Kansas State in order to spark the offense. If Hansen redshirts the entire season, he'll keep a year of eligibility, important because it's unlikely he'll see much playing time behind current starter Cody Hawkins. The coaching staff has said it's possible he may have it pulled again this season if Hawkins gets hurt, but have not ruled out other cases that Hansen might play.
Dan Hawkins was back on camera on Tuesday to talk to reporters about how the CU season is not lost and what to expect from Toledo on Friday.
How many times has Colorado lost to Colorado State and still rallied for a great season? How many times have they lost early and still rallied for a great season? You know, Oklahoma lost a ball game and their quarterback for a while. I'm sure they're going to be okay. Like I said, I prepped our guys beforehand, and we don't talk about usually the season in its entirety but one time, and I just said, look, no matter what happens, we've got a game on Friday, so you better get rid of it. They can throw it. They can move it around, and they've got some good receivers, and their quarterback is a very accurate guy, and they're very prolific at what they do. I mean, they're good at it.
Lynn Katoa's future could not have been brighter as a blue-chip linebacker in January 2008 when he came to CU, rejecting offers from Oklahoma, Texas, USC, and LSU. However, his star faded quickly as he was convicted of felony menacing after striking a man in the head with a rock 2 months after his arrival in Boulder. Katoa was given a second chance but didn't manage to maintain the grades needed to play for Colorado and was subsequently cut. Katoa has now taken another misstep, failing to appear in court for a sentence revocation hearing on Wednesday, and a Boulder judge has issued a warrant for his arrest.
Well, we're just getting things started here on CU Sports Mag, but coming up, we'll have the guys on the double team set breaking down the Colorado game.
And we'll spotlight one CU athlete who can make plays both on and off the field.
Juan le cuesta mucho hacer la tarea. ¿Cómo puedo ayudar?
By coming here, you're already helping. Teachers have a lot to learn from parents.
Dice que ya con venir aquí estás ayudando, que los maestros tienen mucho que aprender de ti.
By the way, he's been a little mischievous lately.
Dice que me porto requete bien.
Juan.
Hables inglés o no, debes participar en la educación de tu hijo. Aprende cómo llamando.
Only you
Can prevent forest fire.
And it's true, we know we can count on you to do what Rocky says.
drown your campfires with water. Make sure it's totally wet. Then stir and drown again.
We know we can count on you to do what Rocky says.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
It's a great day, isn't it? Yeah. Too bad your boat's gonna sink at 11:05.
Don't come closer. I have rabies. Don't you wish there were warnings to protect you from life's risks? With diabetes, there is one. It's called A1C, a simple blood test that helps measure your risk of serious complications. Learn more at diabetesaA1c.org.
Hey, how's it going?
Sir, are you okay?
What? Oh, this? It's probably nothing. I'm sure it'll go away.
Go away? But, sir, that can't be good.
No, it's cool, really.
Do you want a napkin or something?
Everything's fine. Thanks.
You wouldn't ignore this. So why ignore the signs of a stroke? At the first warning signs, call 911 immediately. Because time lost is brain lost.
Welcome back to CU Sports Mag. Football team did not really get a favorable result last weekend.
No, but the guys on our double team set, Ron Knabenbauer and Matt Hanlon, are going to tell us what went wrong and what we can look forward to this week. Guys, take it away.
This week's edition of Double Team. I'm Matt Hanlon. This is my co-host Ron Knabenbauer, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the football season. We just started off with CU-CSU last weekend. Tough game, and then we got Toledo coming up on Friday. So we're going to start off with the good of the game that came out on Sunday. What do you got for us, Ron?
Well, I mean, there was a lot of bad of that game, but at the same time, still some good stuff did come out of this. First off, special teams. Darryl Scott, the sophomore running back, I know his uncle, Josh Smith, left for UCLA in the offseason, but he looks like Josh Smith in the backfield coming out of the kickoffs. He had 5 kickoff returns for 138 yards. Big day for Darryl on special teams.
Very positive, very positive. And also a kicking game. We had Eric Goodman struggled last year a little bit, missed 5 of 14 after his big kick in the West Virginia game. But he came out and he knocked a 54-yarder down. It was very, very impressive. And also, when they came out in the second half, the Buffs really looked strong. Something in the locker room had just pushed them to come out and really command the game, and they came down and scored on a nice run, 4 plays, 66 yards, minute 35 off the clock. Brian Lockridge, touchdown. It really gave some momentum back to the Buffs.
What I was most impressed about with that first drive in that second half was Cody Hawkins working the offense, moving down the field efficiently, and yes, they ended up scoring on a touchdown, and things looked good for the Buffs at that point.
And also the tight ends, they're always there for him. Ryer Greer and Ryan Dehan, 65 yards for Greer, and Dehan had 20 yards. They're always there for a little, dump offs and just really helping out Cody Hawkins. And the bad, there was a lot more bad than good, unfortunately. The defense came out slow. What do you think?
Oh, they came out really slow. CSU scored on three of their first 4 drives, including the first drive where it was 3rd down. They're back in their own zone, and I believe they have the stats right here. He threw a 57-yard pass down the field. It almost was a touchdown if he just broke that one extra man, and the momentum totally switched the other way onto the CSU side.
Yeah, I mean, that could have gone for 6. The receiver had to come back for the ball. It was a tough play, and they ended up scoring. So, it was really bad. But the highly touted Daryl Scott only had the ball for what?
2 times. He touched the ball twice in the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be feeding him the ball. He's highly recruited. He's very, very good coming out. And, the running game. Where was the running game?
It was not impressive at all for the running game. C only had 29 net yards in the game. However, Cody Hawkins was sacked 4 times. So if you minus that, they actually had 67. Rodney Stewart was a big-time leader for the Buffs with over 30 yards in the game.
He's coming off a leg injury last year. It's really tough for him to get back in. But, where Cody Hawkins in the backfield is depending on is that very, very young O-line.
Definitely. The only upperclassman for the team is tackle Nate Salter. And he's only a junior, so definitely a very young team. Some of them got experience last year in last season, but definitely a young offensive line, and they need to step up tonight against Toledo.
Yeah, speaking of that, Toledo, ESPN, nationally televised game in the Glass Bowl, Toledo, Ohio. Very good, very big game for the Buffs. They played last week they played the Purdue Boilermakers 52-31, but they were very prolific in the air, throwing rockets left and right all over the place. And how many yards did the quarterback have?
He threw for 423 yards. They just lit up the Purdue secondary. However, they did end up losing the game by a big margin.
And, they lost by, 21 or something like that. But the Buffs they can look forward to is running. They need to establish a run game early. They need to keep just running it with all their 4 studs that they have. And, the Boilermakers ran all over Toledo last week.
That's right. Ralph Bolden of Purdue ran for 234 yards and 2 touchdowns versus the Rockets. Huge day all over Toledo all day long, and he wasn't the only one. I mean, Purdue was running all over them. He looked like a steam train just plowing through that defensive line.
Yeah, the Boilermakers. What we need to look for is the defense really coming out and being solid. They need to come out quick. They need to come out, talking with each other. They looked like they were just not communicating last week. And that's the way that they can really set up for the offense, give them a little breather, and then just with the run game opens up the passing game, and then we can look for those play-action passes. Cody loves the play-action passes, and so, we got to look for the corners and the corners and safeties not get beat over the top like they did last week.
Especially for the running backs, when you have 4 great running backs in Daryl Scott, Brian Lockridge, Rodney Stewart, and Demetrius Sumler, all of them are really good in passing, catching, and running the ball. You can use them in a whole different ways. And after last week, when Purdue put over 200 yards rushing on them, it should be a big game for the running backs tonight and today.
That O-line needs to step up.
All right, that's all the time we have for Double Team. For Matt Hanlon, I'm Ron Knabenbauer. We will throw it up back to the desk.
The starter's gun fired on Colorado's cross-country season last Saturday at the CU Time Trial at the Buffalo Ranch Cross Country Course in South Boulder. A pair of freshmen stole the limelight as Joe Bossard and Laura Tremblay recorded their first collegiate wins for the Buffs. Bossard finished the men's 8-kilometer race in 26 minutes 46 seconds, and Laura Tremblay posted a time of 22 minutes 52 seconds over 5.8 kilometers to lead the women. Jenny Behringer also made an appearance, albeit more for support than competition, and finished 7th with a time of 22 minutes 55 seconds.
CU cross-country freshman Joe Bossard's speed stood out among teammates he won the Buffs' first time trial of the season Saturday morning. Bossard finished the men's 8K trial in just over 26 minutes as he recorded his first collegiate win after redshirting the 2008 season. His outstanding fast-paced performance makes him this week's CU Sports Mag Athlete of the Week.
You definitely want to be in the top group. It's something that it was important to me to be there, especially to start the season off right. And but more or less, it's just a lot of fun to be with your teammates, and finishing a race with them is pretty cool, and you don't get to always do that. I know that I have a shot of helping the team out in the end, and that's basically what this time trial is all about, is trying to figure out where I'm at and gauge my fitness level, and I think it went well, and that's accomplished what I was supposed to do. I'm Joe Bossard, CU Sports Mag's Athlete of the Week.
We're lucky to have such a diverse and talented student body here at CU. Brian Lockridge of the Buffs football team is no exception. Sports Mag's Anna Zook caught up with him to learn about his other talents. Okay, it looks like...
You might recognize Brian Lockridge as one of the tailbacks for the Buffs football team. However, we focus on another passion of his, music.
How did your love for music first come about?
I actually started, basically my dad brought home a piano out of nowhere talking about, this is for your brother. I was like, oh yeah, but I want to play too. And so I looked at it, I was kind of jealous when my brother was over there playing, and I'm over here playing like the old video games from back then. And basically, I ended up picking it up.
I understand that you write and play your own music. How
Yes.
did you learn that?
It just came from like practice. Like my brother, basically, he's the one that was trying to learn it. But at the same time, like I didn't know how to read music. I didn't take any classes. So the only thing I can base myself on is go in there and just play and make my own stuff. So create my own music, listen to country, jazz, classical music, put that in your head, and you can mix it up in together, and it comes out great for me.
How did you juggle your passion for music with your athletic schedule, with your social life, and your school career?
When I started off young, I was basically a water boy in high school, my freshman, sophomore year, so I had like more time to do music and stuff. And that was like my real passion, was music. So I really like soaked myself in that. But when football came along in high school, it kind of took time away from music, but at the same time I was still picking it up. It was like an easy balance for me.
Even with his demanding football schedule of practices, games on the road and at home, Lockridge still manages to find the time for his music. We were lucky enough to have him perform a few songs that he made up on the spot. I'm Anna Zook for CU Sports Mag.
The last time CSU beat the Buffs in Boulder was September 6, 1986. Now, believe it or not, the Buffs made a bowl game that season, bringing us to our first trivia question of the school year. What bowl game were they invited to, and who did they play? Mull that one over, and we'll have the answer a little bit later in the show.
Well, it remains to be seen whether or not we're going to make a bowl game yet this year. But coming up after the break, we've got soccer and volleyball highlights on tap.
And reporter Matt Seawick shows us a key ingredient in every athlete's training. Stick around, Sports Mag will be right back.
This is a family that was almost fed by neighbors who almost volunteered to help them out. Almost volunteered. When it comes to giving, almost doesn't count.
How you doing? I just want regular, no sugar today.
You got it.
Thanks. Hello.
Hi.
Did you eat that whole thing today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, how you doing?
She's getting big, huh?
Good. Yeah, she is big. Great haircut.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks cute. Well, let's go. Nice to see you. Thanks a lot.
If only child abuse were this easy to recognize. If you even suspect abuse, call 1-800-4-A-CHILD. All calls are anonymous and confidential. Trust your instincts.
Well, the CU women's soccer team commanded the field against Denver University during the 8th annual Colorado Classic last weekend. The first half proved to be a game of possession for the Buffs, outshooting DU 7-4. The intensity kicked up in the second half, but no goals were scored. Then, in an exciting overtime, senior forward Nikki Marshall led the team to victory, scoring the only goal of the game on a counterattack. Nearly 3,000 fans made their way to the game at Prentup Field to cheer Colorado to their 5th win of the season.
The soccer team sought to follow up their victory over Denver with a W over the Oregon Ducks on Sunday. However, the Buffs appeared drained when they took the field against OU, and the Ducks' Jen Stoltenberg needed just 14 minutes to beat Colorado keeper Kara Linder with a shot off the crossbar. CU was able to apply pressure on the Oregon defense, outshooting the Ducks 7-3, but went into the half down a goal. Both teams stepped up the tempo in the second half, but Oregon's Stoltenberg doubled the advantage in the 59th minute after slotting past Linder a second time. The Buffs rebounded well as Kelly Butler assisted Shay Marshall on her first collegiate goal to make it 2-1. The Buffs kept the heat on but couldn't get past Oregon goalkeeper Cody Miles a second time. Colorado has to put the loss behind them as they take on Utah on Friday in Boulder and then travel to Florida to face the number 14 Gators on Sunday.
The CU volleyball team traveled east last weekend to take part in the Yale Invite in New Haven, Connecticut. Colorado won its opening match against Fairfield University, sweeping the Stags in 3 sets. On day 2, the Buffs split their matches with host Yale and Georgetown University. CU rallied from an early deficit against the Hoyas, winning the match in 4 sets, but Colorado was unable to complete a clean sweep of the weekend, losing to Yale on their home court. The Buffs were unable to get in a rhythm, recording 14 errors in the first match, and the Bulldogs put CU away in straight sets. The volleyball team hopes to improve their 3-3 record when they start their home schedule next weekend, hosting the Colorado Invitational.
After 6 matches on the road, the volleyball team is finally coming home to host the Colorado Invitational. The first match will pit them up against number 24 San Diego on September 11th. Other teams competing in the Invitational consist of Cal Poly and the University of Denver. The Buffs split their 6 road matches come into the tournament sporting a 3-3 record.
Well, all sports from tennis to football know the importance of weightlifting. It enhances their performance and hones their skills to be the best athlete possible. Sports Mag's Matthew Seawick has more on the lifestyle of this all-important activity.
The foundation of all sports, weightlifting. The different workout plans are endless, each one unique to the individual and body type.
It's about an hour and a half a day, 6 days a week.
I usually come in here and I lift 3 times a week.
Lifting is a crucial part of any sport, as it raises energy levels and strengthens the body, helping you to excel in other activities.
I mean, it just helps with everything. Like, you can do a lot of workouts to improve your balance, which you can help for hiking or whatever kind of sport, really.
From vitamins and supplements to getting a good night's sleep, success in the weight room goes far beyond just lifting weights.
Yeah, and a good night's sleep, and then nutrition, of course, is just as important as lifting. It's just the other piece, you know, without the right nutrition, you can't make any progress.
But for beginners entering the weight room, what precautions should they take?
Take it slow at first. Don't do anything too crazy, too fast, because you can get injured or you won't make progress, and then you get frustrated and you don't know why.
For Doug, continuous repetitions and a variety of exercises keeps him in shape. This solo sport demands dedication and sacrifice.
Well, it just takes a lot of time, and sometimes, like, you can't go out at night if you need to get up and hit the gym the next morning. It's just like a big time commitment, and it's all individual, so you spend a lot of time by yourself.
But for many students and athletes, the sacrifice is well worth it.
I just think that it's really important to living like a happy, healthy lifestyle.
Weightlifting, along with nutrition and rest, are key ingredients to the success of an athlete. It pushes your limits and makes you better, faster, stronger. Matthew Seawick, CU Sportsman.
Rec Center and weight room staff takes the safety of the students first and foremost, focusing on proper form and sanitation.
Well, that was a great package from Matt Seawick. Another one. Coming up after the break, we've got weather from Kylie Burse.
And then we're going to have that answer to that trivia question. Stick around.
Start when the clock hits 3. When there's no place after school for kids to be. Nothing to do but hanging on city streets. When mom and dad are working to make pumpkins meet. Now it's time to beat the street.
With after-school programs, city kids aren't left alone and vulnerable. They keep on learning between 3 and 6, but these programs need your support. Join with the Urban League to keep them going. Call now, because it's
time to beat the street.
All Buffs fans are recovering from a tough loss to CSU, but hopefully our trivia question brings a little comfort. Just a reminder, we asked what bowl game was CU invited to during the 1986-87 season, and who did they play? And the answer? It was the Blue Bonnet Bowl in Houston, Texas. The Buffs unfortunately lost 21-9 to the Baylor Bears, and one of our Twitter followers, Vince Morosini, got that answer right. You can try to answer it next week by following CU Sports Mag on Twitter.
Most sports fans know that a grand salami isn't a sandwich you can get at half-fast, and that milking the clock doesn't involve a cow. Sports Mag's Matt Hanlon hit campus to test CU students and their sports lingo knowledge in this week's Man on the Street.
Welcome to this week's edition of Man on the Street. With football and baseball in action, we thought we'd talk a little sports lingo with some of CU's finest.
We'll play in baseball, correct?
I've seen second base going to third or something like that.
Isn't that a double play in baseball?
I mean, when you only get 6 points because you don't kick the last one.
I honestly have no idea on that one. I'm not a football expert.
Pick six is an interception returned for a touchdown.
Is it, tackling the kicker before he gets the kick off? I don't know.
Only letting them play when they're kicking and not letting them in the game any other time.
Ice the kicker is to make him think about the kick by calling a timeout.
There was the good, the bad, and the ugly. For CU Sports Mag, I'm Matt Hanlon.
That's another great package from Matt Hanlon.
All right, now let's send it over to weather with Kylie Burse. Kylie, go for it.
Thanks, guys. Welcome back to Sports Mag Weather. I know you've been missing your weekly updates. Let's jump right back to it. Taking a look at this national map right here, as you can see, this cold front has gone down and will be touching the edge of the Rocky Mountains. You can see here that these little blue specks do mean rain, so I have a feeling that they might hit the edge of the Rocky Mountains and spill over into Boulder, but that's not too likely. As you can see, we do have the high pressure system, which is good news. That means it shouldn't be more than just a few scattered clouds. You never know about that rainfall, though. It is Boulder, after all. The temperatures were finally starting to cool down after a pretty warm week, and no more summer weather. I'm sorry about that. But as you can see here, it is the purple, kind of dark purple, which means about 40s and 50s. That's just the Rocky Mountain region. Really, guys, we're looking at about 60s and 70s for this weekend, and that's great news all around. If you want to see the Boulder weather specifically, you can see right here that this weekend's not looking too shabby at all, with temperatures in maybe the 70s and the high 60s. As I said, we do have that chance of rain for Saturday and Sunday, but that's not bad. 30 to 20% chance at most, maybe an afternoon shower. Now the Buffs are heading to Toledo, Ohio this weekend for a Friday night game. So let's see right here. Friday isn't looking too bad at all. 74, partly cloudy. Well, actually, it's looking partly cloudy the entire weekend there. I guess the weather in Toledo isn't that exciting, unlike Boulder, which is why you're a Buffs fan and not a Rockets fan, because we make it kind of interesting for our opponents. Now, we have something interesting here at Sports Mag Weather this week. Now, the hottest place on Earth, just for fun, is El Azia, Libya, reaching a scorching 136 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, that is pretty hot. There's not really too many sports that you can play out then. Maybe inner tube water polo, which we do have here at the CU Rec Center. Now, the coldest place on Earth is actually Russian-based Vostok, which reached a chilling negative 129 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, really, there's not much that you can do in that weather except for maybe some dog sledding, but I would even warm up about 15 degrees for that. Thank goodness it's not that cold in Boulder.
You know, I'm really glad we're not going to be out there this weekend. It's going to be at least a little bit nicer this weekend.
Oh, definitely. It could be a lot worse, and that's what's most important. You never know what the weather's going to do in Boulder, and I think that this weekend's not going to be too bad at all.
Great.
That's all the time we have. For Kylie Burse and Amanda Blackwell, I'm Luke Rosenmeyer. Thanks for watching. Watch again next week.